Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday, and here's another weekend, right? Already. So today we have a new guest, as we do every Friday. You know Greg, my co-host over there. And if you can, please put your questions into the comment section. We will read them out loud, and then we'll answer them. So our guest today is Aga. And am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're going to learn all about her. So again, if you have questions, please put them into the comments, and you can ask anything of her or even us, okay? Sure. So welcome, Aga.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to
How
have
are you today?
I'm doing well.
Good. Good. So why don't you start by telling people what you do for a living?
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aga Samras. I live here in Culver City in Carson Park with my husband, 3 kids, and
3 kids, wow.
Yes. 16, 14, and 12, all in Culver City, high school and middle school.
Okay.
A cat and a dog and some goldfish.
Wow.
A
full house.
Full house, indeed.
Yeah,
it's a lot, yes.
Okay.
I'm the manager of the house.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Not naturally.
You mentioned God we're talking about
today.
Yes.
Over here?
Well,
I'm surprised that you're only the manager. Shouldn't you be the director?
You know what?
CEO.
After this meeting, I am going to claim a new position.
CEO.
Yes.
You
Yes.
should be the CEO of your own home.
But on a serious note, I am a CPA, have been in the accounting world for a long time. 2 decades, and I, as of 2019, I run my own firm, and my office is in Fox Hills, so not too far.
Not too far.
And I have a small team, and we help corporate people, small businesses, and then individuals who own these companies, and then of course any other individual people that need help with taxes. So
so you do only taxes, like not like their bookkeeping or...
We do that too.
Okay.
So throughout the year we have we work with small businesses and we help them with payroll, bookkeeping, hiring, firing, reading financial statements, helping them with audits for workers' comp, all the fun stuff that a small business would need. Okay. And then, during tax season, I step away from the bookkeeping part and I do taxes only. And then we do individual taxes as well. Corporate first, individual second.
Okay. So, I'm going to go back to hiring, firing.
Yeah, I was curious about that too. What does that mean exactly?
How does your role get involved in a company's hiring and firing?
So, we meet, or at least we try to meet with the owners of the businesses often, and they will come to us and they'll say, what do I need to scale? What am I need to grow?
Okay.
And we will say, okay, let's look at it. Let's look at your, how many employees do you have? Do you have enough? Do you have too many? Is it too costly? Right? So, sometimes...
So in those cases, you're going to trim?
Yes.
Okay.
In some cases, we'll say, unfortunately, you can't afford that many people. It's kind that you offer these positions, but maybe you have too many employees, maybe you have too many contractors, maybe you need to do a little more, right, to kind of bring the profits.
How does that go over when you tell a business owner that you need to do more?
I think they know.
Yeah,
I agree. People know.
I think people understand that.
Yes.
They'd like to not have to do more, but it comes
Yes.
down to dollars and cents.
But I think when you present that in the dollars and say, if you could only take that position, or you could put in 3 more hours or something, that would translate into X amount of money.
Right.
They respond to it, and I find it that most of the time they know the answer.
Correct.
But because I say it, it makes it like, okay, she said it, it must be true. Right?
Or it reiterates what they're already thinking and feeling or seeing on paper
right.
what's
so
happening.
Business owners are very smart, and people that been in business for a while, they know exactly what they need.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's hard to let people go,
between
right?
looking at the actual document, seeing the numbers and listening to you, it kind of drives the point home.
Yes, and I'm really dry because I have no personal relationship with the client.
You don't
So,
have it from
unfortunately, I just look at the numbers and I say, oh,
You have no personal emotional attachments to any of it. Yeah.
No. So,
Makes it a little bit easier.
yeah, well, it's a much easier thing for me to say, hey, you know what, that person.
But you don't just walk in and fire people.
No. And please, it doesn't happen a lot, okay? It doesn't happen a lot. I know it's like a moment, like everybody's like, she's hiring. No. But we don't do it often, but it is a difficult task.
So on the flip side of that, when you're telling a business that they're growing now and perhaps look at hiring more people,
yes.
What are you looking at? Like, are you just looking at money coming in, or are you looking at, because your role is about money,
yes.
Are you just looking at that, or are you having a long discussion with them, a couple of meetings where you're going to their office and, you know, looking at what's happening and how they're
yes.
set up?
I mean, it's
all the above.
It's all the above. I mean, it depends where the business is, right? Are we just starting, and now that one person is trying to do everything, right? And obviously they're stretched too thin, and the actual, you know, their actual, I don't know, job that they do so well, it's hurting, right? So we say, okay, you need to do what you need to what you do well, and then let us help you. Let's find someone else to do that task or the other, right? I mean, we do have this common joke amongst accountants that everybody, you know, thinks accounting is easy and everybody can do it, and bookkeeping is easy and everyone can do it. And then we find and we teach to the owners, just stick with what you do, because whatever you sell, or whatever, you know, consultations you might make, or whatever it is that you do, that is your power. And then we'll come, you know, and help you be successful. If you do everything, you know how it is, no one can do everything. So that's how we would.
It's very hard when you, and I'm sure that you probably get this from mostly entrepreneurs, right? Because they're used to just doing, it's like a one-man show, right?
Yes.
And they're used to that, and they rely on themselves, and so it makes it much more difficult for someone to say, no, I'm sorry, but you have to let go of some of this stuff.
Right.
Letting go is not easy.
Letting go is not easy, but you know, when we see that a client has a good product or good services that they offer, it is important for us to tell them that, to ensure them that whatever they're doing a great job and people love it. But because they're doing everything else, they're not allowing themselves to grow, right? And so we will find it, and you know, as accountants, bookkeepers, it's never the same service, right? A smaller business will need us maybe less than a bigger business, right? So the pricing is different. Maybe they don't need us every month. Maybe they need us every 3 months, right? So that's where we keep.
And if you're doing payroll for them every week, there's that cost. So there's different levels of different things that you're doing. If you guys just joined us, we're talking to Aga. She is a CPA, and we're talking about small businesses and how she helps them. So if you have questions, put them into the comments.
Similar vein, I'm in the restaurant business. I mostly deal with franchisees. It's very similar in terms of I have to review all their things. I have to sometimes tell them you should probably get rid of a couple or you should add a couple. Mostly it's the adding, but
Good.
But I find a lot of time when I go over their profit and loss statements with them, they're surprised. I mean, they don't. You're there every day, and so they don't really realize it. You come in and I go in once in a while and show them, and they're kind of surprised by that. And
you know, I agree with you. I express that to everybody every month that we send our financials. We said, please take a minute and look through your numbers. Yes, they're very telling.
They don't lie.
They don't lie. We even say, call us. It will take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. but it's easier said than done for these small owners, right? Because they're running with something,
busy,
and
yeah.
they're busy, and they're usually, in the prime of their life where there's families, and the kid has to be. I mean, I know that.
Sure.
You guys know that. We've all been there.
Yep.
So it's difficult, but I always say no one will care more about your money than you. And because you're working so hard, please put it on your calendar, 15 minutes for myself, right? Even if it means I have a person who works in construction. I said, just go to your truck, okay, and put a little note in the meeting and look at your numbers. Because you need to know what's coming, what's going, and what does that mean for you.
I tell
right?
them once a month at least. It's bare minimum.
Yes.
And if you see inconsistencies, then you know something's wrong.
Exactly. I mean, I'm a money person. I log into my bank account every day.
Yeah,
And people say it's obsessive, but I like to know what's coming, what's going. It's just what I do. I don't know. Should you do it? Maybe not every day, okay?
But how do you shouldn't trust that even the bank's doing it right. You should look at it.
I found a lot of stuff doing it
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
I think it takes a minute, if that.
You should take a
Review your statements and trust me, credit cards, everybody says, do you want an online statement? Sure, we want that convenience. But don't forget, they also know that you probably, because you didn't get it in the mail, you didn't open it, you're not looking at it. And so they're going to squeeze that $15 charge.
Yep. And if you had fraud or if you had some charge there that you didn't charge, you're not going to see it.
Correct. Yes. And, by the time you catch on to it, it's been 12 months of a $15 fee. And it is your money.
Damage is done,
the damage is done. So I encourage small businesses to really...
And I think it's more than small businesses.
Everybody.
I think everyone should really look at it.
I'm with you 100%. I know we're all busy, but we definitely should cater a little time just for that. So you feel like you have control. You feel like, you know what you're doing.
And to know what you have, to know what your funds are, especially in a business, it's really important.
Yes.
Let's say something major comes up in your business and all of a sudden you have this major expense, but if you're not up on what your money situation is, you're not going to be able to, do it. Or let's say you do products and you got a big order and now you need to have all this money to perform to get that order ready. You need to know how much money you have, so you can do that.
Or there's a tax bill coming.
Yeah.
Which is the scary part right now. I am still surprised to this moment, I guess, after 20 years, that people are still very much afraid of April. Of what is my accountant going to tell me?
Oh, yeah.
And I say, why is that, right? Why don't we look at this stuff month to month and look and sort of estimate that? I don't know. It's a fear of.
I think
know
it's
what
like
it is,
the white coat syndrome. You go to the doctor's office and your blood pressure goes up immediately.
Maybe that's what it is. And I'm sure it's easier for me to say oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Well, because I do this every day.
Right.
People are afraid of IRS and this whole tax situation. But if I if I could help people not fear that, that would be like my ultimate, satisfaction.
Consistency. If they see what they're doing and you show them, then the next year's not so scary, right? And
Yes.
you just keep doing that, and it becomes the norm.
And you just, you look at the profit and you have to put away a little bit of it towards taxes.
Yep.
And you just have to do it.
And even if you're like a 1099 person, you should be doing that on a regular basis too. You should be taking all the monthly checks or weekly checks or however you're getting paid and putting a percentage of it away so that you're.
And you know what? We can give them one tip, because right now everybody's like, how much? I tell everybody, on every dollar of profit, put 30 cents away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay? You might say, oh, it's too much. That's fine. You'll get it back.
Well, your 30% is what they would take anyway, pretty much.
Between federal, depending on the situation, okay? But 30 is sort of, you know,
number, yeah.
in the middle.
Mhm.
Okay, and so just think that if you're looking at your month and this month you made, you know, $1,000, okay, $300 is going to the savings account. Okay, and that is a good practice to really, for anybody out there thinking, okay, you know, no one ever told me, do that. And then when the IRS calls, when we call in April, you have it.
You have
That's
it.
right.
There.
Exactly.
Okay,
So we've got some questions here from
Yes.
Christine.
You want to read them?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Can you help with budgeting, forecasting, and cash flow planning?
Yes, we can do that. Yes, I think it's very important. Budgeting is very important, not only for businesses, but also personal life. Yes. I mean, I'm not sponsored by Monarch, but I actually use that for my life. It's a wonderful app that really allows you to track all your expenses and set up your budgets. So, but for businesses to be serious, yes, budgeting is important. Cash flow is very important to understand what's coming, what's not, especially for businesses that might be seasonal. You know, businesses like myself, we, you know, the chunk of services we offer is in the busy season, right? February, March, April. Then we sort of take a break and then we pick up again in September. So if I have payroll for employees and such, I need to make sure that my peak lasts me
right,
right, for the dip,
Again,
right? That I
budgeting,
cover
yeah.
my, yes, budgeting, my rent and everything. So yes, we can definitely offer that, help people with that. Very crucial for businesses.
And just to clarify, do you do individual taxes? Okay, so you do take on individuals as your clients, not just businesses.
Not just businesses, yes, but anybody who needs yes, help with their taxes. I'm there for you.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, so it's coming up. It's
coming up really fast, and don't wait. Yes.
A lot of people I know are waiting.
Oh no, it's so stressful. Don't do that to yourself.
And this is the first year, right, that we're not getting that extension, right?
Well, we always get an extension. Okay?
No, I mean,
but not like the fire extension.
Okay.
That was unusual, and let's hope it doesn't repeat.
If I want an extension today,
you can
file. I do after listening to you.
How do you go about it? You just you can do, if you have some sort of access to software, you can do it on a software, or you print a form, an extension form from the internet, from the IRS website, and you just mail it in. So easy, yes.
Okay.
But remember, the extension is just to file, not to pay. Okay. So what sometimes people think is that they don't have to pay till October. No. The IRS wants the money now. They can wait for your paperwork, but they're not waiting
What
for
if
money.
you can't pay?
So what's the
Because I think
difference
that's
then?
the biggest fear. I mean,
Well, what if you can't pay now?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say
That's a good
pay
point.
something. Okay, even if it's $100, $10, anything, just to tell the IRS, listen, I'm aware of the rules, and I'm giving you a little bit of money today. What would happen is, starting on April 15th, they will penalize you and they will apply interest. Okay, so the deadline is April 15th for paying taxes.
So just to be clear,
Yeah.
are you paying as you're projecting what you might owe, or is
Yes.
it like are you guessing? So what's the difference of getting the extension if you are paying anyway? So why not just do the whole thing?
Correct. So sometimes what happens is, yes, people are procrastinating, right? They're
This
like,
is
oh,
true.
I have it, and they didn't get their stuff quite ready. Okay, one reason. Another reason is, let's say we are invested in some other company, and that company, they also have their extensions, right? Their extension is till September, and we might be getting a K1, K1 is a document that tells us how much we make from that certain investment or from that company. And if that's not available, what do? Because that company likely already paid us. We put that estimate together, okay, along with all the other paperwork that we should have received by now.
Sure.
W-2s came out in January, mortgage interest, interest from the banks, or, maybe stock, the 1090Bs, they all came out, okay? So we put it together the best we can, and we tell the government, this is our projection of what we might owe you, okay, and we're paying it today. And then when we filing to me as a professional is really reconciliation of what I've earned, what I've paid. Did I pay too much? Did I pay too little? Okay, the form is just we reconciling the year, telling the government, this is what I have, this is what I pay.
So what happens when your projection is different than your reconciliation and when you file? So does the IRS look at that and frown, or
no?
No,
they would, again, if you underestimate it, okay, they'll hit you with a penalty.
Right, you're going to pay interest and all that.
Yeah,
okay.
But if you overestimate it, you're getting it back. Not a problem, and if it's a good amount, a big amount, they will give you even interest. Some people earn interest from the IRS because they haven't claimed their refund for a long time. So the IRS is actually nice, and they will give you a little bit of interest. Which later you have to pay taxes on. So
it's a star next to your name.
What if I have no interest in paying it back? That's still a different. I guess that doesn't count. So,
yeah. No. Yes. And
you want to read the next question?
Yeah, this is a great question. There are, Chris. Thank you. What do you expect?
No, how do you help?
Let me try this one first. Yeah. How do you help clients plan for growth or expansion?
Well, we listen to the client. Listen, ultimately, you know your business. You know where you want to go, you know what you need, and then you come to me and you say, I have all these dreams, right? Okay. And so we look at your numbers and we say, can you afford these dreams? How soon can you afford them? What does the expansion mean? Are we adding payroll? Are we adding bigger space? So rent expenses. So we're looking at your fixed costs, and then we're looking how fast are you, are we selling? So what's the projection of sales, right? So it's definitely a collaboration. I can only read the numbers and advise you whether your projection of sales can cover our fixed costs, right? Yeah. If it can, great. If it cannot, then we have a conversation and saying, well, can you afford to do it as well? Are you sure? How sure? What is the, we also compare with other businesses that we might have when we do our research. Right. So it's a process, and we don't have a crystal ball. It's not like we can say you will succeed, right? It is a combination.
So if I own a restaurant now, I want to open another one.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know about the location I chose so much. You wouldn't know if that's good or bad. You're looking at the numbers that I'm presenting.
Exactly.
And you're walking me through the plan that I'm basically giving you, and we can change it that way.
Yes.
But it's not foolproof by any means.
Exactly, and we're putting these numbers on a spreadsheet, right? And we're looking at it to see whether it makes sense or not.
Right, and of course when you're doing that, you're overly optimistic. Not you, but...
Yes, I am usually pessimistic,
correct,
right?
Yeah.
As accountants, we are usually on the conservative.
Right, good.
We take the conservative position, and we might temper your statement and say, but what if? We gotta have the rainy fund, right?
Sure.
What if this happens? What if this doesn't happen, right? We take a look at everything and ask these questions. Okay, so we have a fixed rent. Well, let's look at your rental agreement and see, is there a 3% build-in increase? Yeah. Which, so there's all these things that at the end of the day, we will put on a spreadsheet, and we will run all these, investment, return on investment, and see if it makes sense.
Good.
Yeah. So it's truly just lots of conversations, lots of comparison, lots of back and forth. But we'll support you.
Okay.
The best we can.
We got more questions. What do you expect from me as a client to keep things running smoothly?
From a client, so it is very. Whenever I meet a client, how about this? Because obviously, I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for all CPAs. It is important that we trust one another.
Of course.
I feel like accountants have a very special relationship with their clients because we truly know a lot about you, right?
And we're trusting you with our money.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. So, any good client to me is a client that comes with an open heart, so to speak, and says, I'm here to help me, I'm here because I need your help. And if I decide to take you on, I am gonna do the best I can to do that. Communication is key, right? Whenever I reach out to you, please respond and send me the list I'm requesting, so I'm not, let's take for example right now, it's a very busy season, and clients sometimes forget that if I get an email today and then I get an email tomorrow and day after, it is very difficult for me to work on your account, and my fees naturally go up. Because every day there's something I wasn't aware, and here I am thinking we've completed your return, and there isn't, right? So
being organized.
Being organized is key. Being very communication is key, and be straightforward and be honest and say, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I need, right? This is the exact question, and don't be shy. Because at the end of the day, we look at your credit card statement, your bank statements. You might have a little shopping problem, right? Or you might go out to the restaurant a little too much, right? It's okay if you tell me.
She's talking to you.
Maybe your $6 coffee is a little too expensive, right? But if we honest, we sit down and we just talk about it.
How do they respond when you tell them these things?
Oh my goodness, one time I actually had a lady who cried, and that was really sad for me, because I didn't know that I could, that could make anybody cry.
Could be emotional, yeah.
It was emotional, I think, because sometimes, I think people know, whether they can afford that coffee or not, and it is just coffee, and people are like, why is she talking about coffee?
Thank God I don't have that.
You know what? If we want to do something bigger, I don't know, saving for a house, saving for vacation, forget that $6 coffee. Make it at home. Because
everybody uses that coffee, Starbucks as an example.
It's so true.
It is true.
It is true.
You add $6 times 7 days a week. I mean, and then you go to the whole month and then the whole year. You spent a lot of money that you could have saved.
It is
easy.
You know what? And I think that's why it's key to look at your statements, because you realize how these tiny little expenses at the end of the month is $500.
So my theory on this is that because we have gone to so much of this cashless society, you don't see the money.
Correct.
You don't see it leaving your pocket. You don't see when you open your wallet up, and you don't see that there's not the money that you took out of the bank to spend for the week is not there. You don't see it, so you just keep spending.
Which goes back to checking it every month.
Exactly.
Making sure
Which it goes back when people say, I have a couple $1,000s that I owe to the IRS, I can't pay it.
Right.
Trust me, I will find at least $200 on that credit card statement that you can eliminate. You just have to have it, dry month, meaning no coffee, no shopping, nothing. I call it dry month.
That's a great month.
I put myself on a dry shopping because I, like to shop sometimes. And I'll say, that's it. That's it. We're cutting. And, the month goes and life is still happy. Life is still good. Nothing. But, you were able to chip away at your debt. And to your point, corporate America knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And, we have this beautiful Culver City downtown, and all that stuff is, little ice cream, little coffee, little bagel, little tchotchke, little this, and it adds up.
I think it's okay to treat yourself.
Yes, for sure.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's okay to treat yourself. And especially if you work hard and all that, But you should know how much money you have to treat yourself with.
Which is budgeting.
Yes.
Because if we put on the budget that our, spending money for treating is $200, I don't know, a month. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Right.
But let's say that's what it is. And we, maybe, as you said, just have it cash and keep it in your pocket and see if you out.
You're less likely to spend cash, I believe, than you are.
Yes.
You think twice about that when you have cash in your hand versus when you use it.
Exactly,
and also,
because it's visible. It's
right there.
It's in front of you.
And also, if you you've 3 weeks in and you only have $20 left, you're like, I'm gonna think
What did
3 times
Yeah.
what to spend on as
Where did it
opposed to
go?
just tapping that card, right? So no, there's ways that we can do it, but it's definitely harder nowadays, as you said. It's just
So-
tap.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even have to take out your credit card, right?
Yeah.
Before you at least had the plastic in your hand. Now it's just tapping your phone,
Yeah.
right?
It's
So
pretty easy.
again, they're eliminating another step of you.
I will say this. I think it's wrong that we don't use cash. I think that we shouldn't become a cashless society because at the end of the day, every dollar that you spend, it goes to a bank or a credit card company. They're making money off of it. And the person that you're doing business with isn't getting the entire $20 that you're paying for that product either. So that's my take on it. I think it would be better if we,
Had a little
stop.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get some of it, like where some businesses don't take cash because of theft and and all
Plus, it
that.
costs, small businesses also have the struggle of they're paying on average 3% every time they offer you to pay with a credit card.
It's more than that. Just that you have your statement fees. You have
there you
know,
go. Yeah.
You have your terminal fees, and you have.
And so it's hard to really push that on the client because then again that coffee goes, another 50 cents or another $1. So they're bearing that
Well,
cost.
if you go to a gas station, you now have a choice of cash prices or credit, and the cash price is cheaper.
Yeah.
They encourage you
Right.
to do that.
And sometimes, like a donut shop will tell you, like, oh, we charge another 50 cents if you use your charge card, right? And I understand that because they're really trying to cover the fees that,
Restaurants all the time, they pay. I mean, a large portion of that money goes to them. We have some comments, actually.
Do you still have one more from Christine?
Well, hang on just a second. Let me read the comments first. I switched to the other site. Angela says, I've been using Monarch and absolutely love it.
Yay.
Very important to keep track of your expenses and stick to your budget. I just downloaded it. And then Vicky says she agrees with Rocky. That's never happened before. I know both of them. Says,
That's not what she said.
How do we, okay, that part's not really there. How do we budget in a cashless society? I love to pay with cash.
Yeah.
how do you budget in a cashless? I mean, then it's
I kind of
virtual.
understand the question.
Yeah, it's virtual cash, right? It's still money.
You have to consider everything as cash.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, whether we got a check for our, on our pay date, or we got a transfer, it's still just numbers, right? So we take that number, we put it in a spreadsheet, and we call our husband on Friday and say, you're not going out today because we added the budget. I have a story that I share a lot with my clients is my family, we wanted to go to Hawaii, which we did, and as we all know, it's a wonderful place, but very expensive. And so we were like, yay, let's go to Hawaii. And so we had a budget, because I have budgets for everything. We had a budget. Sure enough, if it wasn't for the budget, we would have been over budget at least $3,000 because we're like, oh, this hotel, it's 5 of us, right? This hotel, flying back and forth, right? A week and excursions and such. So I said to my husband, we can't afford it. The way we want to do this, we can't afford it. We're out of budget. And so we said, okay, how can we stay within the budget? Well, camping. No hotels.
I was going to say leave 2 of the kids home. But all right, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll do that next time. That's a good option. But we dropped hotels and we found a camping ground.
Wow.
And that saved us a lot of money on hotels.
Sure.
But I swear it was that was my budget. I had to work within it, right? So I was just kind of scaling down. I said, okay, flights, I can't really do anything about flights. But I can adjust where I'm staying, whether we're going out to restaurants or cooking, right? And stuff like that. So it's...
So did you bring everything with you? Or
we brought everything with us.
Okay.
So we brought the tents, we brought the blankets, we brought it, whatever, because the airlines allow you to check in a bag. Everybody checked in a bag, and we just camped. And it was lovely. The weather was wonderful, and the kids thought it was fun. So But sticking to the budget was important,
Terrific.
you know. So I don't know. You can do it. Everybody can do it. Yeah.
Bruce has one more question, and can you walk her through how you help the small business clients save money or improve financially?
Okay, walk us through. This first step, reach out to us. Second step, calm down for a conversation. Let's do it at a table. Let's sit down. Bring me your financial, and let's look at them. And we're gonna scrutinize every expense, okay? Just like we would do with home financing, right? Your credit cards, and we would say, okay, is your space too expensive, right? Or maybe you can afford it. If the employees are necessary, okay, we keep the employees, the payroll, and all that. But we just look at how much you bring in, what is your fixed cost, and whether that fixed cost is reasonable or not, and where else can you skim. Ultimately, I always tell people two things. Two ways to make money: earn more or save more, right? We could say, I have this one lady, she hates this, but I keep telling her, sell, 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 sell. She says, Aga, that's all you do. You tell me sell. I said, yes, because by selling, you have everything in place, okay? There is nothing we need to change. But for you to be profitable is you going out there and selling the heck out of it. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if you're knocking on doors. You know that because you're in sales, right? And so that's what we're looking. We're looking at two places. Can you do more? You know, if you're working 30 hours, can you do a little more hours? Or is that, you know, if you say, no, I'm tapped out. Okay, then we got to skim on something. You know, then maybe that office, we got to cut in half. Or maybe you need to share an office, right? These kind of things, we're just looking at hard numbers. You know, we're looking at hard numbers. There's nothing else I really have. And
you said you work with small businesses mostly. Yeah. So do you find that a lot of your small businesses are working out of their homes?
Yes. And if they do have an office, the home office is still there because, you know, small businesses, you work Monday till Sunday.
You can still claim your tax credit.
Yes, you can get a home deduction. Yes, absolutely. So, you know, for instance, I have a business that does fashion, and they produce their t-shirts and sweatshirts and such. So they do have a space, right, a commercial space where they work, and they do some administrative stuff there. But of course, you know, they have shipping boxes in their garage, right? So they're at home too. But you know, for me, I could run my business from home. But what I found was that being a busy mom, that got in the way. My dog is always waiting and looking at me to walk him, right? My cat is always, so I said, I need to bring in X amount of clients to cover my rent, right? So that's where my sales go, and I say, okay, I need to sell more, provide more services to afford a rent. And I'm more productive. For me,
I was just gonna say,
you know, some people say I'm great at home. I am the first one to admit I am terrible at home because my home is a distraction.
Distractions all over.
So it is absolutely worth it for me to go and spend money on rent because that's where I produce. That's where I'm away from family and distractions. I go in, and where I am, it's a working. Co-working space, and so there's a lot of lawyers and accountants like myself, and so it's a little motivational too when you walk in and see another professional, you know, talking about business.
But you also have some people working with you.
Yes, they're actually remote, but you know that works for them and whatever. But I just, you know, that's just me. So
no, I get it. I mean, I think if you're a little older, maybe your kids have grown and gone to college, or maybe they're not home all, you know, every day, and they have their own jobs or something, then it's a little different working from home because the distractions are not as much. But when you have little kids, it's a lot harder.
Oh yes.
You know, especially if you have kids that come in from school or whatever, and they want to talk to you, and they want
yes.
to tell, so it's a little bit different. I know for me, I had my business in my house for a long time, and I waited until my younger daughter was in high school, finishing her last year, and then I moved my business out of my house.
Yeah.
But and it was challenging, but at the same time, it gave me the ability to be able to go pick them up after school,
Yes.
know where they were, start them on
Yes.
their, so it worked for me.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has a different ways. And certainly, listen, you don't need a space. You don't need to go rent anything to start a business.
Right.
And that's another thing, a question I get a lot. How do I start a business? Start today. Start at this very counter, right? At home. And then you will grow, and you will grow, and you will grow, and eventually you can afford a space, and eventually, but
how important is it for, I feel like this has changed over the years. Before, like, you always heard, you have to have your business plan laid out. You have to have all of this stuff done before you start a business. How important is that anymore? I don't feel like it's as important anymore.
No, it's a great question, because clients sometimes will take weeks to pick a name for their business.
Yeah.
So not important. So not important. The business plan, I mean, business plans, it sounds like it's such a big name and concept, right? Sometimes, I mean, even when I was starting my business, I came from corporate America. Did I really know I knew taxes, I knew the whole thing, but did I have a plan? No, the plan was I want to be on my own, right?
Yeah,
that was the plan.
Yeah.
And I think once you decide, okay, you just stick with it, okay, and you say, I want to be on my own, I want to be independent, and you just build on it. And the name, I was thinking about it too for a little bit, but then I was like, it's just a name. If I don't like it, next year we can change the name, okay? And then I also find that your clients don't care what you're called, They don't care. What they care is that you do good service, and that's key to success, is that you show up. And at first it's difficult, but you stick at it, and it's such a cliche. It's like we all say that, right? But like,
Sure.
I almost feel like, especially if you're doing a product, I almost feel like having a business plan is secondary to having your social media lined up.
Yeah, and that's powerful. The social media, which I'm very thankful to be here. I've been in the business for a long time, and just now I'm kind of starting to come out and realizing that it is a powerful tool.
Absolutely.
To really get your voice and face and tell people, hey, I'm here, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And Culver City is such a wonderful community. We have everybody here. People are wonderful. They're doing great work. And so it's nice to be connected, nice to be working with people, I think that, that sense of safety, so to speak, because like I'm working with an attorney that lives in Culver City, and just because they live not far from me, I feel like I can trust them. I know they're doing a good job. They're here in Culver City.
You can have a connection.
Yes, that connection is important, right? As opposed to me trying to find somebody maybe from downtown or, Santa Monica. I don't know. I know people here. Keep it local.
And our Culver City Biz community is also
wonderful,
very connected, and there's, we call ourselves Culver City Biz, but we do have the neighboring cities around us that also come to our events and things. And
we do not discriminate.
We do not at all. We don't tell you that you can't join us. So with that said, we have a lot of small businesses and micro businesses even, and it's really great to have somebody like you that could also help them.
Sure.
Where they might not have. It's really interesting because we talked about this earlier, of how important it is to let go of some of the things, and some of the stuff. If you can let go of one thing in your possession of your having a business, I would say this is the most important one that you can get rid of, because payroll is not easy. Believe me, I've done it before. Giving it to somebody to do and outsourcing that is really great because it makes your life a lot easier. They know what to file. They know how much to take out. There's no chance of error. And if there is an error, they have to take responsibility for it. So there's, I think that's really important. So if I was to tell any of you small business owners or micro business owners, if you could take one thing away from you, I would say that would be a good thing to take away. And then if you are a business that wants to grow and grow and grow, having an accountant and being able to pull out profit and loss statements and all of that, those are like really important things. Again, an accountant can do that a lot quicker than you can.
Yes, and you know what, to what you're saying, if I may just add, a lot of people might be thinking right now, I can't afford it. Mm-hmm. You know what? That has been proven wrong by us just because we look at your stuff and say, you forgot to deduct this. Mm-hmm. You forgot to deduct this. There is a new law that came and applies to you. And right there, we tell you you can afford this because we just found you a deduction that you weren't aware of. That gives you a tax break. There is the extra money that can, pay for your tax bill. Sure. Right? So,
and I'll take that even one step further and say that if you were to hire an in-house employee to do your bookkeeping and everything and not outsource it to an accountant, that would also be much more costly to you than doing it this way. So
correct. It's very expensive to have employees, especially here in California. Lots of rules, and that's another thing. We have to, continue our education, and we have to stay on top of the constantly changing rules. California is a difficult state. It's a wonderful state to live in, but also difficult to comply with.
Do business.
Yes, and people are very worried about IRS. Yes, full respect, but California has plenty of rules, and sometimes they don't comply. Sometimes they have a different rule than the IRS. And, it is important to be on top of it.
It's very hard to do business here in most cases.
Yes, you really have to be on top of it. And even within, Culver City, we have licensings we have to do, right?
Everywhere.
That's important. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people forget, what am I doing? When do I file on this? So,
it's all very complicated too. A lot of stuff you have to know. It's better if you have to just know your business and what you're doing and let somebody who does that part, that accounting part, that CPA, that knowing all the rules and taxes and even what you can claim and not claim and all of those things, give it to that person who knows better so that you don't make any mistakes. You don't have IRS auditing you. Things like that. I do have we're probably going to close up here in a second, but one last question that kind of came up yesterday, which I'm very curious about. I'm going to ask this of both of you. So, I kind of stopped writing checks and used to carry my checkbook with me and go to the grocery store, write a check everywhere, right? And now I find myself not using my checks at all. Right. And I was talking to someone yesterday who said this to me, that this thing is requiring a check. I don't have checks. I don't have any checks. Yeah. So do you guys use checks?
In the odd case that I need one, I go to the bank and they'll give me 4 checks for like $3 or something like that.
They do?
I don't have a checkbook. Any bank will do that for you. It's real cheap.
Okay.
You're going to get the money anyway. I mean, it's, using their check. But I don't have any reason to have a checkbook at home. Very few people even take them.
I know.
Yeah. Now we have Zelle and now we have Venmo, right?
Yeah.
So the checks are being eliminated. I do have a checkbook, but you're right, it's on rare occasions that I have to write a check. Maybe to my church, really. But, checks are not very common. And, IRS, again, just touching on that, again, they're really telling people, we don't want you to send us a check. Right. Pay online. Checks get lost. The processing time has been extended forever. People will send a check in January. That check is not cashed till June. Everybody's worried. Where's my check? Where's my check? Right? And so now with direct deposits, getting money back, they're also saying, we don't want to send you a check. Can you accept that money directly to your banking, right?
Yeah.
So that is changing.
Probably on its way out.
I think so. You know, I think our kids
They'll
will,
never even know what a check is.
Right?
It's like, you don't know how to handwrite. Yeah.
Yes.
There's,
that's why the handwriting is being eliminated too.
who needs
Because
it?
what are you going to use your hand? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's sort of the future where everything is just, you know, which is challenging, especially for my elderly clients. People in their 80s and older, you know, it's tough because they're not as computer savvy, they're not as technology savvy. And you know, you kind of have to, you know, how to use that iPhone and the Zelle and the Venmo and the scanning. It's tough. So with them, I sympathize, and you know, I'm worried for myself because I'm like, we're gonna get there at one point. Are the kids gonna be just like, it's gonna be in their eyes or fingers or things?
You blink 3 times.
Right?
So,
What's gonna happen to them?
Scary stuff.
Because it changes so fast. I mean, the change is coming at us so fast that who knows? But
Do you have a name of your company?
yes, it's Samras CPA Group. Samras CPA is my website, so feel free to go and check it out.
we'll post that.
Call me up, text me.
Samras CPA.
Yes.
That's .com.
.com.
I'm assuming you're booked right now. Tax
I'm pretty booked. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm just, you know, I'm here, but I'm running back to the office to finish work, and I'm very much looking forward to the end of it, because it's been yes, it's been a long journey, but you know, listen, don't worry if you couldn't file on 4/15, okay? Let's fire as soon as you can.
Next year we'll have you back like in January, February.
Yes. So we'll start like hyping people up and like start doing your taxes. Yes.
Well, I've really enjoyed our conversation because it wasn't just about being a CPA. It was more about the small businesses and things like that. So I hope that we've helped our business community on Culver City Biz. If you are watching this, please put your questions into the comments, even after the fact, because we can still answer those for you, and she will answer those for you.
Yes.
If you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. That's Culver City Biz. Eventually, all of these live interviews will go on to there, so they'll be kept there, and because Facebook doesn't allow us to keep it for too long. So please, you know, join that. We need a certain number of subscribers to go live there, and we'd like to eventually do that. So,
What's the number we need?
I'm sorry?
What number do
we
we need?
need 50 subscribers, so we're
That's not
inching
bad.
our way.
Come on, everyone.
Come on, we can do
Come on,
this.
let's do it. And
We can do
of
this.
course, in May, I'm going to be at the Culver City Biz.
Yes.
Yes,
And
of
I'm
course.
sure a lot of you as well.
Yes.
So
So that date, she just brought up the next point I was going to go to, which is May 14th, and we're going to be at Ferrafuno Interiors. He hosts once a year, and he does a fantastic job. He's on Sepulveda, 3961 Sepulveda Boulevard. If you ever came to my studio, I was right above him, and he's just on the downstairs floor. And he has a upholstery business, so there's plenty of places to sit.
Best seating in any room.
And he gets food from all over the place, and it's just a really fun, great event, and we get a really good turnout. I believe last year we probably had at least 100
we
people
hit over
there.
100.
wow.
That was probably
Yeah,
our biggest one.
so-
Yeah. People
so-
really like it. He invites people too.
He
so-
invites people too, and so it's a really great one. You don't want to miss it. Great opportunities for networking because there will be so many people. Although all of our networking events really do have a lot of people that show up. And last night we had one, and it was fantastic. So thank you to Mitzi Hansen who hosted us, and also to Selena and Justin from Style Den who have this beautiful space over in the marina on Maxella, right next door to the Yard House. We're hoping to go back there to do our Biz Fair next for June. On June 4th, we will have our business fair, and that will be probably the location for that.
Yep.
So stay tuned for
Let's
that.
Good time.
Lots of good things happening. including tomorrow night, we are going to be doing a fundraiser. The Exchange Club is, I was looking to see if my husband was there, if he wanted to come and talk about it. But anyway, we're doing the fundraiser for Get the Funk Out, and it's going to be for the Backpacks for Kids program. It's a great program. It's for families who have food insecurities. Come out, dance with us. There's going to be 2 great bands. Greg and I will be there. And, you know, come meet us on the dance floor, okay? Because it's going to be really fun.
For a great cause.
And food will be included, and all the monies raised tomorrow will go to the Backpacks for Kids program. So it's the only thing that's going to benefit, and it's for a good cause.
Yep.
It's for a great cause. And thank you all for watching today,
Yes.
and thank you, Aga, for being
My
with
pleasure.
us
Thank you
today.
for having me.
Thanks. No, you're true.
We'll see you guys next week.
Hopefully
Okay,
we'll
have
see
a
you
great
tomorrow.
weekend.
Yes.
Meet us on the dance floor tomorrow. It's at the NFL station.